respectful. That you will come to us whenever there's a climate story, you call us, because we're gonna give you straight information. So that's what CCL does. All right. Now I gotta tell you a brief story, and I'm gonna ask some of your stories. I got into this 2.5 years ago. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know anything about climate change. I had not seen an Inconvenient Truths. A lot of you, and Ron Kind was way ahead of me, okay? And Ron Johnson was running against Russ Feingold, and I was a judge having some coffee with my colleagues. And we were sitting in the Glass Bank in Madison, if you've been on the square, having a cup of coffee, just 10 o'clock in the morning, talking about nothing. I had a newspaper, and there was a blurb this big on a sidebar that Ron Johnson says it's the sun. It's in September, 2 months before the election, when he beat Feingold. And I read it out loud. And there were 5 of us, 6 of us there. Everybody starts laughing, and the nicest thing anyone said was, "What an idiot." You know, and it went downhill after that. And the guy laughing hardest was sitting right next to me, Boyd, and I went, "Okay, smart guy, what if Ron Johnson came in right now and he sat down right here? Well, what would you tell him? Why is he wrong?" And these are 5 or 6 pretty smart people. They didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue. I mean, what would I tell Ron Johnson? Why isn't it the sun this time? And I did not know the answer to that. So at 10 o'clock, I went back to my office and I just said, "All right, clear my calendar. I'm gonna kind of take a day off here." And I got on the internet and I started looking for the answer to that question. And what I found terrified me. I mean, it was like pulling on a loose thread. You know, I got my answer eventually. And I'll show you the answer. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the sun's fingerprints. This is the elevator answer. Okay, average global temperatures are increasing more at the poles than the tropics, more in winter than summer, and they're going up higher at nighttime than daytime. And they're also more in the troposphere than in the stratosphere. That's the only technical term in there. I've tried to say it in all layman's terms here. All the cold, dark places are warming faster than the hot places. Okay, so it's the poles in the nighttime and the winter. And that's not the signature that you'd expect from the sun. Plus, if it were the sun, you'd have even warming in the atmosphere. And that's not what's happening. The greenhouse gases are acting like a blanket, so the warmth is not reaching the upper atmosphere. So temperatures in the upper atmosphere are going down, and they're going up in the lower atmosphere. Exactly what you'd expect if it were caused by greenhouse gases. The second thing I found, this one graph ruined my life. It's 800, it's in there on your sheet, so you can see it there as well. If you look over the ice cores down in all over the world, from Russia and around the north and down south, 800,000 year picture. This is an ice age, okay, when CO2 concentrations down here, and then this is an interglacial, and we've had 8 of them. All the human civilization happened right in that little area, the last 12,000 years. If you look at that, for 800,000 years, the parts per million CO2 has been between 200 parts per million and 300 parts per million. And what happened was when the IPCC, this International Panel on Climate Change, did its report, and in 2008, the observed level was about, I don't remember the exact number, I think it's 390, let's say, just about 400, and they're saying, hey, in 1915, it crossed 300 parts per million for the first time, not just in 800,000, but when you look at the ocean sediments for 3 million years, and now they're saying maybe for 20 million years. And I just did a graph of 3 million. I said, gee, from 1915 to 2015, we went from 300 to 400 parts per million. That's what's going to happen. And if that's an inch on a graph, this goes back, oops, this goes back 3 miles down at the bottom here. So 1 inch, we've grown 100 parts per million, and for 3 miles, I'm sorry, for half a mile, it's been under there. And then I saw, well, the lowest estimate of where we'd be in 2100 was here, about 550 parts per million. The highest estimate was about 900.
And this got my attention. I said, I've got to figure out what this means. This looks significant. You know, what does this mean to me? Because this is